Welcome back to From the Pressbox, Stark County Edition. I'm Joe Frollo from the Repository.
I'm Chris Easterling from the Independent.
Chris, Stark County football is over for this season. Massillon was the last team standing. You saw them play Glenville last week at a state semifinal. I thought the Tigers played very well. That's a very good, very talented Glenville team they ran into.
I thought they represented themselves very well, acquitted themselves very well. A lot of teams fall behind 14-3 to Glenville, which is athletic and as talented a football team as there is in the state, and they would have folded the 10 up. But this Massillon team just kept fighting. They got a key turnover right before the half that they were able to punch in for 7, get back within, get a little closer, then took the first drive, benefited from a couple of Glenville turnovers, but managed to get it to 17-17. But in the end, the better team won because Glenville was able to hit a couple of big plays there in the fourth quarter to pull away. Massillon had a couple of chances, just couldn't finish them. But still, all in all, a great season for a team that has a lot of kids coming back next year.
And that brings us to Week 15 here in Stark County, which of course means the state championships. 3 really good games on Friday. Why don't you run them through us real quick?
Well, you start at 11 a.m. With the Division III title game between Mooney and Columbus DeSales. This game may set a state record for quickness because Mooney and DeSales both want to run the football. They're both more than content to run the football. They kind of reluctantly will pass the ball. Mooney's got a great tailback in Braylon Hurd who just ran all over Steubenville. And Steubenville's a great football team.
Yes, they are.
Last week. DeSales, I think they dropped back down to Division III, and they're kind of looking to get their first title since '98. Then you go to the 3 o'clock game in Canton, Division V, Ursuline and Coldwater. Coldwater coach John Reed's got this may be his last game, battling throat cancer. He's had some success against Youngstown Parochials. The last 2 times they made it to the state title game, they beat Mooney teams that everybody thought were overwhelming championship favorites, although they did face Ursuline in 2000 in the title game, lost to them. But this is a very good Ursuline team they're playing. They got off to a slow start, but they've really been rolling with Alan Jones at tailback, 2,000-yard rusher. So it should be fascinating to see how that chess match goes. And then Maple Heights and Winton Wood, the nightcap on Friday at Massillon, the Division II title game. The scoreboard operator at Massillon should better be ready because there's going to be a lot of points scored in that football game.
You talked about the 11 o'clock game. I think that 7 o'clock game, people are going to have their eyes open. A couple of teams that had never been to the state championships before, had never made it this far, but they can fly.
It should be a fascinating football game because they both have put up a lot of points in the tournament, and like I say, the both of them are first-time finalists, so there's no real edge in being on that stage. So I bet you they both just kind of let it hang out and just go play some football. It should be fun to watch.
On Saturday, we have Chagrin Falls and Kettering Alter at 11 o'clock in the Division IV game, and D6 at 3, Norwalk St. Paul and Delphos St. John. And then the nightcap that I'm really looking forward to. These are 2 teams that maybe people didn't expect to be here when the playoffs started, Glenville and Hilliard-Davidson. But as talented as Glenville is, Hilliard-Davidson may have the perfect recipe to beat them. They run. If Fawcett Stadium was still natural turf, we could use the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, maybe 3 yards and a patch of rubber or something, because they're going to tear up a lot of yards on the ground.
I remember seeing Hilliard-Davidson about 4 years ago, I think it was, and playing Mentor in the finals, and that was a game where everybody thought Mentor had the athletic advantage because they were this wide-open football team that threw the ball all over the place with Tansky and those guys. But Davidson just gradually got back into it and won that game. Thrilling game, double overtime on a 2-point conversion. The names have changed a little bit for Davidson, but the philosophy is still the same. They like to grind it out with that triple option team game like Georgia Tech and Navy. It's going to come down to, can they stay disciplined enough and not let Glenville jump out big like they did against Massillon there in the first half. If they can, going into the fourth quarter, I like the discipline of Davidson. It's going to be fascinating. It really is because it's kind of 2 contrasting styles. It'd be interesting to see how that football game transpires.
Well, anybody who hasn't ever been to a state final game, I highly recommend it. They're entertaining. The crowds are always lively. It's the last game of the year, so all the energy's on the field. We've had a great time with you this year on From the Pressbox Stark County edition. One more time, I'm Joe Frollo from the Repository.
I'm Chris Easterling from the Independent.